Hi, this is the Madness of Trip, and you are listening to the 3 Count Podcast with Red Dog.
I'm in fashion, roll it.
Welcome everybody to another great edition of the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up this mountain called wrestling. And like every good Sherpa, which by now all of you listening to the show should just be saying that I am your Sherpa. That's right. But like every good Sherpa, you got to have someone who's been there, done that, and can do it more efficiently than you can. And that's why it's never about me. It's about who's entering the ring. And who's entering the ring today? You can find this man at SWA, NYCW, Full Circle Pro, Tough and Talented, Sanctuary, ACWA, ICW, and BBE. He is the universally known as the Madness of Trip.
Wow. That's a long list of companies to find us at. That kind of caught us off guard. We haven't heard it said by someone else. It's usually us saying it to someone. So no, that was awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's funny because like when I go through and start doing research and stuff like that, and people like hear it back, they're like, "Oh, I forgot that I was at that spot." So it's always funny.
No, there's a long list of places to say that I forgot that I was at that spot, and forgot is big air quotes. Conveniently forgot, we'll say.
I totally understand. I totally get it. So we have met a couple times in person and had like great conversations and stuff like that. And so I was genuinely excited to when one, you said, yeah, I'm going to come on your show. And two, to be able to kind of like pick your brain and kind of see like, what I can learn and stuff. Because I know that you've been around for such a long time. And I was like, man, let me get some advice from this man and who's been involved in this business and just like have so much fun with it.
Oh man, you're gonna make us sound old by saying that we've been in it for so long.
I mean, yeah.
19 years. 19 years. Ooh, 19 years.
But
as we say that, we feel our hip and our neck.
Yeah. Actually, what's funny is like we were in training yesterday and I took a bump and I felt something pop and I was like, the neck is definitely sore today. I was like, I'm definitely feeling that age part.
Yeah. And it's almost like wrestlers. We age kind of comparable to dogs with what we put our bodies through. It's like, how old are you? You're 25? Well, no, how long have you been wrestling? 6 years. Oh, so you're really like 41.
That's a fair assumption. Yeah, you just multiply everything by like a time and a half.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like, but the funny side of things though is that we actually heal quicker than like your average person. Like I'll say that because something that was brought to me from another wrestler, and I didn't believe them at first, but they're like, you're gonna find yourself like you'll get injured, but then like the doctors will tell you it'll take you like 12 weeks to recover. You'll do it in like 7, and I was like, sure. And then sure enough, like I got injured, and I was supposed to be out for 10 weeks. And then like 7 weeks later, I'm back in the ring bumping. And I was like, damn it, this guy was so right.
Yeah, we all get this like inherent Wolverine gene. We all get this little genetic mutation that helps us with healing.
Yep. Definitely. We are all, we get in, we take like 3 bumps, and then the body's like, all right, super healing activate.
Yep.
So
I've actually found myself over the years going through withdrawal when I'm not bumping in a ring. I need my daughter to pound on my back like a drum just to give me the familiar feeling of getting beat up.
Oh man, like when I got in and we had the national shutdown, and for 2 months we didn't do anything, and I couldn't even get in the ring or anything. And then I remember like getting back in the ring and just telling myself like I don't want to take this bump like at all. And then I did, and I was like, yeah, that sucks. That still sucks.
Oh, it always sucks. We just know how to make it suck a little less.
So for our listeners and our viewers who don't know who you are, please let the fans know, who is the Madness of Trip?
Sometimes we don't really know who we are that much anymore. It's just we've decided to take all the different aspects of the psychological breakdown with the ego, super ego, and the id, and we try to apply a real world application to it in a theatrical sense. So being the madness of trip is actually embracing the psychology of the human mind and trying to make it an art form, not necessarily split personalities because it's all one mind, just the different aspects of it. But as for who we are, we embrace jovial violence, we deliver violent and aggressive benevolence, and we like to hurt people and smile while we do it.
Yeah, I remember like watching you at SWA, and I was like, those poor bastards have no idea what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah, we went into that. You're talking about the gauntlet match, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, we went into that with the intention of choking everybody out. And that's basically what we did.
Yeah.
A different choke for you. A different choke for you. Oh, what do we have for you? A different choke. Oh, you're on the ropes. We're not letting go.
We're not letting go. We're just going to hold on for dear life.
Well, it wasn't our dear life. It was his
life. Yeah. So, how did you get into the sport?
Oh, so the behind the person, behind the gimmick a little bit. So that's what we're doing. We're kind of just peeking behind. My mother actually dated a wrestler way back in the day, around the time we were like 4 to 6 months old, somewhere in that range. And we've just been around it forever, and we've been obsessed with it forever. So a lot of time in Pennsylvania yielded good training opportunities. Coming up to Buffalo yielded more training opportunities, and then just anytime we can get into a ring, we did. And that's basically the long and short of it. You know, you can name drop the Samoans, you can name drop the all-nighters. We can go through the long list of seminars, but it's just we've been relentless in the pursuit to be in a wrestling ring since we were a kid, and that's, you know, when we turned 18, you couldn't stop us. When we turned 20 and started to gain some confidence in our ability to speak and our actual appearance, we got rid of a hood, got a lot more tattoos, and then gradually tried to figure out what we were doing. Yeah, a lot of trial and error.
But that's how it should be, right? Like your journey of like who you want to be and who you want to become, and like the character you're trying to portray. You know, it's really about like trial and error and just like figuring out what's gonna work, what's not gonna work. Maybe, you know, even like I think when I go with me and like just the small time that I've been involved, like there's certain moves and stuff that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hit this move in the match, and then I do it, and I'm just like, yeah, you know, I don't want to do it again in another match. Like I'm good with what I did, and it's all like the trial and error aspects of like trying to figure out who you want to be as far as like a worker or even just like as a person.
Sorry, you got real digital for a while, so if you're pausing, waiting for me to respond, I don't know exactly what you were saying.
Oh, no, I was just saying that the whole game is it's a trial and error thing, like especially with the movesets that you're trying to do.
Oh yeah, with a whole lot of error.
Yeah, yes, a lot of errors.
Oh. Yeah, I mean,
You kind of
there we go.
Yep, now we're back.
Yeah, everything just went to buffering for a second. So yeah, on the whole trial and error thing and eventually finding what you're going to be. Didn't start off with a top hat, didn't start off crazy. Literally started off with a nickname that I got from the very first time I got into a ring. My foot got caught in the ropes, I fell flat on my face, and that's where Trip came from. Like, there's no grandiose, like, major story. It's literally, I was a clumsy, short, fat kid, tripped on the rope, fell on my face.
You pulled a Batista.
No. I did it first. but yeah, I started off rocking Sabres colors, blue and yellow, for my gear, and I really had no idea what to do with the name, so I just came out hopping around, and I was like, "Oh, generic babyface wrestler. Here we go. Let's make it happen." And then really liked heavy metal, tried to get into headbanging and use that as part of the gimmick. No one gave a shit. Tried going real drastic, cut all my hair off, tried to go to an airbrush singlet and trying to be a wrestler, Kurt Angle style. Still, no one gave a shit. It wasn't until that the first time my tag partner and I, Brian, teamed up and we started wrestling as Spot Monkeys Inc. Two grown men, looked like the Hardy Boys, acting like monkeys, eating bananas on the way to the ring. That's when I was like, wow, this is the dumbest shit I've ever done. And people like it. Okay, let's run with it. It was after, or toward the end of that, I blew out my knee, and I had about 6 months off just trying to figure out what I wanted to do when I came back, because Brian had moved on and gotten a new partner. And I watched a lot of like Alice in Wonderland, Van Helsing, Bram Stoker's Dracula, and the first words out of my mouth were, I could rock a top hat. Why not do that? Why not go crazy? Why not be the Mad Hatter of pro wrestling? So I was like, hey, I'll let the fans decide. They're going to love me or hate me.
And then you just go, yeah, and that's the one thing I noticed is that, like, yes, you definitely could rock out a top hat. We're not going to play that game. But what makes it so cool to me is that what makes it so cool is it's just like this, I don't want to put it. You just, I don't know. It once you realize like where you're at and what you want to do with your character, like everything else just kind of falls into place, and it just feels like everything just kind of turns suave. I know, like for me, like I tried the whole serious like mercenary kind of gimmick, and like while it was kind of rolling, it just didn't feel like me. It just felt like I was just kind of forcing something all together, and I was like, let me see what else I can do. And I was like, I remember like in the military, we all like live on dark humor. I was like, so why in the fuck am I sitting here like trying to be all stoic about shit? I was like, let me crack jokes about somebody and then like beat their ass, because that's what we would do normally. And I was like, it's gonna be like Deadpool because my name's Red Dog. And then like as soon as it all came together, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna run this character right into the ground. It's gonna be so much fun.
Well, a lot of the inspiration behind the madness of Trip didn't come from wrestling. The only person that was an inspiration for the early crazy aspect of the gimmick was Daphne, which was even more embellished when I got to meet her and actually got to work with her. So that one was just, that was a dream come true. That was awesome. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. The gimmick has now come full circle. So now how can I evolve? I took a lot of inspiration from, oh man, almost everything you've ever seen Johnny Depp do, thrown in a blender, sprinkle of Marilyn Manson. If you're an Elder Scrolls fan, Shale Gorath, the Daedric Prince of Madness, was a good inspiration. Tyler Durden from Fight Club.
Yes.
So, I mean, it was a nice amalgamation of different intellectual psychopaths, and they enjoyed what they did. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's add my own crazy to it and see where it goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could definitely see like the Fight Club aspect of things, because it was like there was like this sick menacing laugh as you're like choking people out, and I was like, yeah, that's definitely Tyler. I was like, I could see that happening so quick, and I was like, I can relate to this.
Yeah, that's part of the fun stuff.
So you said it yourself, right? 15 years into the business, and I just need to know, what's the worst bump you've taken?
19 years.
19 years, I'm sorry.
19 years, yeah. Worst bump? Botched tombstone pile driver that broke my neck.
Yeah, that would
Yep.
be tops.
Yep, 2 fractures to the C3, compressions for C5 and C6, herniation, or 2 herniated discs, hematoma in the spinal column. Yep, worst bump ever.
Not one.
August 25th, 2012.
Oh, damn.
Yep.
Damn. The
worst part about it was my idea.
So how did that make you feel?
Well, given the angle that was going and given the story that was written, that move was designed to put a big exclamation point for the finish, and it did in a real sense of the exclamation point.
So I guess like I'm kind of curious because I know like a lot of people who are probably watching this can, they know like Big E kind of going through the same situation, like with his neck fracture and everything, like recovery time and everything that was going on with you. Like, what was the biggest questions that you had coming, like wanting to come back? Like, what was your, I guess, yeah, what was your biggest questions like hitting you?
So the worst parts about it were, I was in a neck brace for about 23 and a half hours a day. I took it off a little bit in the morning to like take a shower and took it off a little bit before bed to scratch my neck. For a while, I couldn't even cut my own food. So like, my girlfriend at the time, at the time, that was her title. Yeah, and we had just started dating that year. She dropped everything to take care of me, and she had to cut my food like I was a little kid. Couldn't handle it myself. Just putting pressure with the knife and fork, the hands went numb. As far as my biggest question during the injury, I was getting so angry, and I just couldn't stand everything that was going on. I hated life. I had to readjust to turning at the head when I got the neck brace off because I was turning at the waist. But I think the biggest question was, could I keep doing this? Because I had nerve damage that goes into my left, like down my left forearm and into my left hand. So my reaction time with my left hand was, just shy of a full second behind. So I would think it would happen versus instantaneous. So my biggest thing was, am I going to be able to do this? Can I bump again? Am I ever going to try taking any kind of a pile driver, even a DDT? Am I going to have second thoughts? Am I going to second guess myself with what I'm going to do, what I'm going to take? So there was a lot of things that went into it. And then my first match back, I remember the promoter telling me, "Hey, it's your first match. I need you to take it easy." Okay, Sean. Sure, I'll take it easy. Finishing the match, went for a super kick, took a low blow. I won by disqualification. Then my opponent hit me in the back with a ladder. And then laid the ladder down, put my head between the rungs of the ladder, and then climbed the ropes like he was going to jump on it. Security split us up, got him out of the ring, helped me to my feet. And at that point, I took a straight charge, ran, flipped over the top rope, and landed on him and the security guards that escorted him out of the ring. When I got to the back, he looked at me. He's like, "Hey, I thought I told you to take it easy." Sean, I did take it easy. I didn't start the match that way. But since then, I don't necessarily throw caution to the wind, but I don't stop myself from going through all emotions, doing everything like I used to, just because if I got scared of getting hurt again, I'd probably make the mistake and get hurt again.
I feel like that's something that like I hear a lot from my trainer is always you can't think about it, otherwise the more you think about it, the more like you start to overly be cautious and that the more risk that there is involved. Because I know like he when he first taught me how to take a power bomb, he was like, "Listen, like it's gonna happen fast, it's gonna happen furiously, you just tuck your chin and just help, that's it." And I was like, okay. And I remember getting slammed, I was like, yeah, that all sucked, all of it. But I was like, at least I didn't think about like, oh my god, I'm gonna fall or something. And then like even like giving one back too, it was like, he's like, just think fast, he's like, don't even think about it, just think about like Nash. And then like I remember like hitting it the first time, and I was like, I really like doing this move a lot.
The first time I took a power bomb, I held my breath.
Oh.
I'll never do that again.
We had our trainee, our newest guy, and I told him, I was like, don't hold your breath when you take this first bump. And he's like, I won't. I've seen how it looks like on TV. And all I heard was I was like, try to tell you. I was like, but hey, you'll get them, partner.
Nope, that's such a common thing, especially with new guys. They hold their breath or they inhale. That's so common, and we've all made that mistake. Every one of us.
Yeah, my first time holding my breath was when I wanted to try the giant senton that Akira Tozawa does, and yeah,
Ooh.
and I didn't land in the center of the ring. No, I landed like right near the buckle, and I was like, never again will I do this move. This all sucked.
My inner child is in pain hearing that right now.
I don't even know what sparked me to even try it. I was like, yo, it can't be that bad. No,
You were
100%.
wrong.
100%. And the worst part was my trainer was like, why did you jump off the top rope? He's like, you're just supposed to fall out. I was like, because that's not how he does it. He's like, because he's been doing it for years and you've been doing it for months. And I was like, yeah, could have told me that.
I also think you got him outweighed by like a good 40 pounds.
Yeah. It's true. It's very true.
Yeah, because you're a hefty dude. He's kind of a skinny motherfucker. So it's a big difference.
Yep. So after a show, what's that post-match meal that you gotta have?
That depends on where I am. Anytime I'm in Pennsylvania, so we'll company name drop SWA, BDE, ACWA, AFCW, NCW. What am I missing? There was PPW for a period of time. SSW. So most of the time, anytime in Pennsylvania, if there's sheets, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, Sheets is always good to get to. I'm starting to like Sheets a lot more than Wawa's.
Well, we don't have them in New York. We don't have a sheets up here. So when I'm in New York, it's usually wings, chicken wings. I live in Buffalo, so I mean, it's got to be wings.
I understand. I was like, any particular flavor?
The edible kind.
I love it. I love it. Hey, what's one of the hardest lessons that you've had to learn in the business?
Hardest that it was a hard lesson when you learned it, or a lesson that you just took a long time to learn? Or are we going to go with both?
Yeah, why not both?
So a lesson that was the hardest lesson to learn was you're not going to appease to every wrestling fan. No matter how hard you try, you're going to have some people that just don't like your gimmick. They don't like your moves. They don't like your look. They don't like your tattoos. It could be as simple as they don't like your face. You're not going to appease to every wrestling fan. That one was such a hard lesson because vast majority of my career, I've been the babyface. I've been the good guy, and trying to appease to everybody, trying to be that 100% marketable main event guy, and still not winning over 100% of the crowd. What am I doing wrong? I think I'm doing something wrong. I got to fix this. I got to fix this. And then you start doing something, then that person likes you, but then you lost 3 people that liked you from before. So that one was probably the hardest one to accept. The hardest reality lesson was how this business is the ultimate stab your friend in the back business. That was the most painful one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would probably be the hardest hitting lesson.
I've never heard that. Like, of all the episodes I've done for this show, like, I've never heard that. And I know because a lot of people talk about how this is like a very big, like, cutthroat business. And I've never thought about that in the sense that if you're not watching out for it, it'll definitely be the person who's closest to you.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, the opportunities that exist for wrestlers now did not exist back then. Back then, when I was breaking into the business, WCW was already going away. So all there was WWE. Otherwise, you had to go international. And then you had this, the coming up of Ring of Honor, CZW. But again, the only TV was WWE. Then TNA came out, and everything was still really hard to get to. You had to go to a developmental, Florida Championship, OVW. You had to go to one of those places in order to get anywhere. But now, you look at the top American ones being WWE and AEW, immediately followed by Game Changers, Beyond, MLW, Ring of Honor, CZW, all of the different indie companies that, because of the internet, are now big mainstays in all these other places. So much British wrestling is over here now. New Japan is now accepted by all wrestling fans, especially because we're just coming out of Forbidden Door.
Right.
Impact has had their roller coaster of a promotion. There was a period of time where there was Global Force Wrestling. So, I mean, the amount of opportunities that exist now for wrestlers is astronomically better. But now there's also, as one more company becomes a mainstay and becomes a place to go where you can make a career and make money and actually be on TV and do all these things, there's now another 20 wrestlers all gunning for the same spot. Now, for independent wrestlers like you, like me, like every other guest that you probably had on here, there is an opportunity to garnish attention and make a decent living off of independent wrestling where you're not contracted to be on TV every week. There is the opportunity to do that. And even those opportunities didn't exist back then. But now you run into there's a lot of guys that aren't properly trained and are getting spots on shows because they're cheaper. Guys that are getting spots on shows because they're friends, because they're buddies. I know this guy, or I'm selling X amount of tickets. It's not so much based on work ethic, where you look at 20 years ago, you had to be the creme de la creme. You had to be the best of the best. Now, you still have to be the best of the best to only do right by you. But if you can't get the opportunity to get your foot in the door, doing right by you doesn't mean anything.
No, I definitely understand that. And I was just like, it's that taking a step back and making sure, like, God bless, man. Like, I could not imagine, like, right now, because like I am youngish in the sport, maybe not age-wise, but like definitely know that like I'm limited on the time that I have like in the ring right now, as far as a career outside of like being an MC or being an announcer or commentary, editing, whatever. That's a whole different
adult film star. We saw the videos.
Yeah. I did. I tried. You know what? Like, they only accepted me in a couple roles, and I told them specifically, do not put this out until I gave the approval. They did it anyway. I made very little cash. Mia Khalifa would have been proud.
I mean, you did have to use the wide angle lens, so that was a bonus to your credibility.
That was. I was like, hey. I was very happy with that one. Yeah. So what kind of advice would you want to give to like up and coming wrestlers?
So I currently do run a wrestling school in Buffalo, New York called Mad God Media and Arts Wrestling Entertainment Academy. And one of the biggest things that I have to tell them, which was actually, since we talked about hard lessons, one of the things that I tell all of the students is don't get frustrated. If you give into those frustrations and you give into I was just doing this and now I'm making a mistake, make those mistakes in training. Don't get frustrated, because when you get frustrated, you'll make more mistakes. You'll get hurt. You might hurt someone else. And then your frustration turns to guilt. If everyone was meant to be a wrestler, then what we do isn't special anymore. And if it was easy, then you can go buy, tights off of eBay, buy boots from, Spirit Halloween stores and go be a wrestler tomorrow. It's you get what you put into it. the time, the energy, and effort that you put into it, that's what you're going to get back. Invest in yourself. It's not just money; it's that time, energy, and effort. But sometimes it's money. And don't get frustrated. Those are literally all the top things that I can say. Any up and coming wrestler, anyone that wants to be part of the business, even if you're not in front of the, not the one in the ring, if you're a ringside, if you're a referee, if you're a commentator, if you're an announcer, if you're a producer behind the scenes, if you're helping pre and post production, don't get frustrated with what you're doing. And every role that goes into it, you're all important. So, I mean, no one is beneath anyone else for it.
Yeah, that was it was funny because like we met at we were talking at SWA, and then like after SWA, I had a couple matches like right afterwards, and I went back to my trainer and I was like, dude, I think I might have taken a step back, and he was just like, what? He's like, I don't really see it. And I was like, yeah, I was like, and I just felt that way, and then like went to another promotion and got to run a match with one of my friends, one of my best friends, and we tore it down. And I was like, oh nope, I just had a moment. I was like, all right, I don't have to feel frustrated with myself. I was like, it was just a couple bad things that happened in a match that made me think that I was taking a step back, but it ended up just kind of me being in my head a little bit too much. And he was just like, yeah, because you try to be a perfectionist at something that you shouldn't be a perfectionist at. And I was like, touche.
Dude, we're wrestlers. We're our own worst critics all the time.
Oh, man. So I know you've been around for a long time, so we have to talk about this. I need one do
Oh, boy.
and one don't of the locker room.
Oh, one do of the locker room. Wash your fucking gear. Wash your ass. Wash your gear.
Yes.
Seriously. Deodorant should not be a foreign fucking substance. Wash your ass. Wash your gear. Fucking, that's a rule of the locker room. That's a do. Don't. I'm torn. There's two that I can talk about.
Put them both out there then.
Don't bring your temporary date for the night. There's a specific term for all of you that know. No. Don't bring them into the locker room. Don't sit there and put them on the menu for the other boys. And don't count your money in front of the boys. Like, if you and your close boys are open to talk about it, that's one thing. Do that when it's just you guys. Don't do that around nobody else. Because A, what you're getting paid is no one else's business. And B, you don't want to sit there and go into working with someone where, you work in a match with them, you both were in the exact same match, and you're walking away with more in your pocket. You don't want to do that. What you negotiate as a professional is what you negotiate. What he negotiates is what he negotiates. Don't take it personally if someone gets paid more than you. Maybe they got more time. Maybe they sold more tickets. Maybe they got a better reaction. Or maybe they just politic the right way. Oh, there's a good one. Don't get into fucking politics with wrestling. Fuck.
I love that you said that one, because that's one thing that I'm just like, listen, like I've taken this away from somebody, because at first I used to tell myself like, I have a lot of friends in this business, and someone had to break it down to me. It was like, no. You have a lot of acquaintances in this business. You may have some friends, and then you'll have your team, and then whoever's in your corner. And I was like, damn, that was mind blowing to myself. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, all right, well then I'm just going to stay doing whatever I'm doing and just keep pushing forward and not worry about what anybody else has to say or do. Because at the end of the day, like, I see people like all the time, like talking and like pushing themselves and like, oh, hey, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go talk to that person. I'm going to pitch this. And I'm like, dude, some people like ask me, like I was asked at the show that I was at just this last weekend. They're like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know, whatever the promoter wants me to do. It's just like,
yeah,
throw caution to the wind. Whatever. At that point, like, oh, I'm working that person. Cool. Let me go talk to them, and we'll talk about what's gonna happen. Otherwise, I don't really ask that question, because I'm like, I don't really, at this point, like, especially for me being only in for a couple of years, I don't have a reason to ask that question unless like unless like a promoter specifically wants to come to me and tell me like, hey, this is the storyline, this is what I want to do with you, and this is how we're gonna build you. Cool, whatever. Whoever you put out there is whoever I'll work, and then I don't really care about what's gonna happen after that. I just want to have fun and tear it up, and then have more people want to come work with me.
No, I'm the exact same way. So it doesn't matter that you're a couple years and I'm almost 20. Doesn't make a difference. That's my MO too. Is I'll ask the promoter. It's like, hey, what do you want? What's the goal for this? I'll put my spin on how we get there, but what do you want? What's the goal? Is this going to be long term? Do you just need this for the night? How can I help reach your vision my way?
Oh, I like how you said that. I'm gonna have to sorry, I'm gonna steal that.
No, please steal it, because what we do is a physical art form. We're painting a picture with our bodies. So I mean, they're the ones that give us the concept. We're the ones that got to paint the picture. So it's our bodies that do the work. It's their vision that we got to bring to life. So I mean, what we do, how can I get to your vision my way? If you had someone say, hey, copy the Mona Lisa versus, hey, draw your interpretation of the Mona Lisa, you're going to get two vastly different pictures.
Yeah, nobody's going to like my vision because mine's going to look like finger paint from like a 3-year-old who just never have. Well, you know what? To be honest, most 3-year-olds haven't seen a Mona Lisa. So yeah, that's exactly what it's going to look like. Just splat.
But that's the thing, though. Who's to say that finger painting isn't going to be looked at as modern art by some people? Again, this goes back to my earlier point where what you do will appeal to some people and other people won't give a shit. And then other people will hate what you do, and then you'll have other people that stalk you and send you their underwear in the mail.
Oh, God, I hope not. No one's getting my address.
Yeah, you don't want to go through that.
I don't. Hey, so those are all my heavy-hitting questions, but we do have to get into the second best segment of the 3 Count Podcast, and you're probably trying to figure out what's the first, and that's the Red Dogs Power Rankings that you can find every Sunday on our debate show. But this is the 3 Count Podcast 10 Count Questions, and Mr. Tripp, this is how it works. I'm going to fire off 10 questions at you, rapid fast, and whatever's your answer, that's your answer.
All right, cool.
So we're going to put on the imaginary timer for added pressure. Bing! And here we go. SmackDown or Raw?
Raw.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? The Four Rooms.
Yes. Sonic or Knuckles?
Sonic.
Favorite cartoon?
Animaniacs.
Let's go. That's the first time I heard that on the show. So underrated. Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Backstreet Boys.
Favorite Fortnite character?
When the game is off.
Let's go. PlayStation or Xbox?
Yes.
I like that. I like that answer. Favorite podcast?
This one.
Right? It's not like it's not marketed here or there or just down here. Nominate one person that you want to see on this show.
Hope Dealer Saren Rain.
Yes. And then
we're actually rocking his Pride shirt.
I love it. And last but not least, my favorite question to ask every single person who comes on this podcast: favorite curse word?
Fuck.
Right. There's got to be any other word out there.
No, actually, sometimes it might be twat waffle.
That's a good one too. I like that. But those are all my questions that I have. So the last thing I actually have for you is to let our listeners and our viewers know where they can find you.
Oh, man. You want to find us anywhere, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation. You're going to look up the Madness of Trip. That's literally where we are at all times. YouTube as well. Upcoming, actually, July 2nd, we're going to be at NYCW going against the NYCW Heritage Champion Black Rose. Other than that, at different points this month. You're going to see us at a lot of different places, or next month, I should say. July 16th, Supernova Wrestling in Massachusetts. The 22nd, you can catch us at the Hamburg Fieldhouse. It actually was just announced today for Outbreak Wrestling. We're in a 6-man tag match with Mil Muertes from Lucha Underground fame. So, yeah, there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff. You're interested in wrestling training, Mad God Media and Arts in Buffalo, New York. No, that's about it. If we come up with other stuff, we'll put it out there. We're a sore thumb. We stick out. You'll find us.
Bet. There you go. He gave you the handles. He gave you the school. He gave you where he's going to be at. And he even told you about who he's working with, Muertes himself. And you know what that means. That means we got to talk about our favorite part of the wrestling match. Going home. Because this is the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering Ring, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up this mountain called wrestling. And like every good Sherpa, you got to have someone who's been there, done that, and can do it more efficient than you can. And that's why it's never about me. It's about who's entering the ring. You see him right there. Actually, he's right there. And he is the madness of Trip. And you guys know what to do. Tune in to the next episode and be there, or you are subscribing to all of our stuff, whether it's IG, Twitter, TikTok, or even here on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you can find us. You're leaving comments, you're sharing with your friends. So you're either there or you're waiting for this episode to end. You're waiting for that outro. And then you're choosing another episode to listen to. Peace. What's going on, 3 Count Nation? I'm Clifford Red Dog Miller with the catchphrase. But what I really want to do right now, go to twitter.com, right? Go over there, find us at the 3 Count _ pod, give us a follow, give us a like, give us a comment. We want to talk to you guys. Go to IG at the 3 Count pod, give us a like, give us a follow, leave us a comment. We want to interact with you. Go to youtube.com, give us a subscribe, turn the bell on, turn the notifications, leave a comment. We want to talk to you. Go to anchor.fm /the 3 Count podcast, and in there, you can leave us a message, and we will talk to you. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that we want to talk to you. We want to have fun with you guys, and we love listening to what you guys have to say. Also, one thing I need you to do for me, the 3 Count podcast also has merchandise. Oh! At prowrestlingtees.com /the 3 Count pod. Please, go buy our t-shirts. We love you guys, and we hope you love us too. So, show us some support, please.